Tomorrowland ain't got no shit on this. You'd wish you were there when it happened. A once in a lifetime chance to see the most epic of the epic concerts that was full of epicness. I'm Epic Singh and you're Nishit in shorts. No, wait. Today, I'm taking you to another decade to celebrate music and let you know how it ended up saving thousands of lives. So brace yourself to watch a lot of 4:3 pixelated footage because we're going back to the 80s, my friends. No one had ever tried to coordinate two massive concerts on two continents at the same time and broadcast the whole damn thing live on TV across the world.
Though it's been called a logistical nightmare, the concert producers tell us that not only will Live Aid fly, it is going to rival Woodstock and be longer remembered.
This was completely bonkers to think of at the time. But Live Aid was also the first and the last concert to broadcast in 150 countries. And yes, India was one of them. So why was it done on such a massive scale? It's because when you could reach people wherever there was a television set or a radio in 1985, the viewers could then provide the kind of donations Bob Geldof had in mind. Who's Bob?
Bob's your uncle.
Wrong answer, Boris. This is Bob Geldof. A rock star from the 70s who was in fact fading out in the 80s, kind of like Himesh Reshammiya now, but with better voice. Bob's life took a turn in 84 when he saw a BBC documentary about the Ethiopian famine, which claimed more than 1 million victims from 1984 to 85 alone. So feeling miserable for the people not having enough food and water to survive, Bob decided to call all his homies in the music industry, and no, these singers didn't join Swiggy or Zomato. They came up with Live Band-Aid. That's how they came up with Band-Aid. A charity group consisting some of the biggest singers like U2, Phil Collins, George Michael to come together and make a hit song which could raise enough money to save the poor people in Africa from dying of starvation. I should have sounded more serious about this. You want to hear the good news first? The song became a success, sold over 2 million copies around the globe, and raised more than 24 million US dollars. And yet, all that effort just barely made a dent to improve the situation. So Bob said, fuck it, we'll do a concert bigger than even Woodstock to raise more money. And that's how Bob's charity group Band-Aid gave birth to Live Aid.
David Bowie. On July 13th, 1 billion people all over the planet will tune in to a music event that will never be repeated. The Live Aid Concert. Elton John. 17 hours of performers donating their time and energy to help raise funds for African famine relief. Alison Moyet. From Wembley Stadium in London. The Pretenders. From JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. Queen. MTV will be at both shows, and we'll bring you all the music, live as it happens. This is what they mean by once in a lifetime. The Live Aid Concert, July 13th, on MTV.
And for one day, July 13, 1985, an estimated 1.4 billion people watched this monster of a concert. I was yet to be born in 26 days, by the way. Damn it. Had I been alive, I would have crawled in my pram all the way to fucking Wembley Stadium. From Meerut.
I know love is true, but it's so damn easy making love to you. I got my mind made up. I need to feel your touch. I'm gonna run to you. Yeah, I'm gonna run to you. 'Cause when the feeling's right, I'm gonna stay all night. I'm gonna run to you. Yeah, I'm gonna run to you. Oh, when the feeling's right, I'm gonna run all night. I'm gonna run to you.
It's 12 noon in London, 7 a.m. in Philadelphia, and around the world it's time for Live Aid. 16 hours of live music in aid of famine relief in Africa. Wembley welcomes their Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales.
And for its live telecast, do you know how many satellites were there to do the job? No, not 2 or even 5, but 13 freaking satellites to broadcast it across the globe. 95% of all the television sets in the world were tuned in to Live Aid. And this is just the surface of all the crazy things they pulled off. Like, Geldof got the acts to perform for free. He said, no, you're buying your own ticket to come to London or to Philadelphia where the American concert was happening and perform at a show that was organized in just 21 days. It takes months to plan a concert like Tomorrowland or Coachella, by the way. With so many performances to happen in just 16 hours, I can only imagine the chaos backstage. Because you can't execute these things to perfection. You know, if one act gets pushed, the rest of the lineup pretty much goes tits up. To keep things on schedule, a red warning light was placed at the front of the stage that will flash and therefore alert the band that their time was up. So how did the Who respond to it when their act exceeded 20 minutes? Well, their guitarist Pete Townsend fortunately saw it flashing and broke the light and kept playing.
Forget old.
True story. Naturally, such delays could have resulted in multiple artists waiting backstage for hours, meaning you could end up with a bunch of cranky rock stars. Just listen to this example. In 1982, Ozzy Osbourne, while performing live, bit off a bat's head on stage. And he wasn't even cranky. Do you see the danger here? Do you see the danger here? To avoid such catastrophe, the management team of Live Aid did something that was nothing short of genius, or maybe completely mental. They decided to bring the artist to the stadium just minutes before their stage time starts. How? With a fleet of helicopters. Yeah. And the place they were given to land was a cricket field nearby where a championship match was happening. And this arrangement had happened at the very last minute, so the poor cricketers had no idea that their match is gonna get disrupted in every 20 minutes by a helicopter. Naturally, the guys playing cricket weren't too thrilled about it, and they kept explaining that it's a very important championship match. While the other guy from Live Aid just looked at him and said, "It's Live Aid. The world is watching." Yeah, but we have a very important championship match. Can't you reschedule? Can't you reschedule? Can't you? No. It's the biggest day in music history. Not care. I'll live for cricket. And people are dying in Africa. In Africa. Duh. Not on this cricket pitch. Do you not have a soul? I do. But we have a very important championship match today. And what do you know? A helicopter did land on that field in every 20 minutes that day. Well, I guess we know who won that fight. Another great thing that happened because of Live Aid is that it brought back bands together that had broken up. Once again, Bob Geldof was responsible for reuniting some of the greatest bands like The Who and also Black Sabbath, which means our beloved bat-eating Ozzy got to perform with his original band members after 7 years. Even Led Zeppelin came back to do their first gig in 5 years. Phil Collins made history during the broadcast when he started the day out in London.
Good afternoon, Wembley. Good afternoon, Philadelphia, and the world. See if I can get through this. This is called Against All Odds.
After giving a stellar performance, he flew on a Concorde to make it to New York and from there flew to Philadelphia to not just sing at the JFK Stadium.
I was in England this afternoon. Funny old world, isn't it?
But also played drums for Eric Clapton and Led Zeppelin. All done on the same day. Phil Collins 1, Superman 0. And despite all these magical performances, Mr. Geldof wasn't too happy with the funds that had come so far. He was like, just 25 million pounds? That's bollocks. In fact, he did swear on live TV.
You know, you've got to get on the phone and take the money out of your pocket. Don't go to the pub tonight, please. Stay in and give us the money. There are people dying now, so give me the money. And here's the numbers. We'll
Let's
read
go
them out.
through the way. I think
No,
we're probably going to get the
let's
address
just-
first, aren't we?
No, let's fuck the address. Let's get the numbers.
Now, Geldof's strong words did exactly what he asked for. Because soon after, the US phone center just basically crashed when 7 lakh pledge calls came in at the same time. Even with 900 volunteers, the AT&T staff got more traffic than they could handle. And then, one band's performance made this problem of jammed network even worse. Forget calls. It amped up people's excitement so much, they started throwing money at their TV screens. You don't know who this is?
They just like you to stay in the bracket they know you, and that's that.
Well, they might like to, but I don't give a shit. I mean, I do what I want.
This takes me back to the summer of 2015 when I heard Queen for the first time. So I was writing a promotional article for some product, and because I didn't have much interest in the thing, I started playing my favorite 80s music on YouTube, to help me write some award-winning content. So it started with Michael Jackson and then George Michael, and then YouTube took over with its suggestions and played Bohemian Rhapsody. And halfway through the song, I just had to stop typing because of how my mind was being blown by it. Now that song has a very different kind of energy going for it. Even for a rock song. And I know they can have these really long guitar solos, but this one, it was changing gears and rhythm and genres and became opera-like at one point. Bohemian was unlike any other song I had heard. And I said to myself, fuck the article about Neti Pot. I'm listening to Queen for the rest of the day. And then I got fired for not delivering the article. But in return, I became a fan of Queen. Totally worth getting fired. Was it though?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It was not until his biopic came out in 2018 that I finally learned about Live Aid. So after finishing the movie, I immediately searched on YouTube to see the actual footage. And man, I was again blown away. Not only had Rami Malek matched every move of Freddie flawlessly, but the scale of the concert and how the audience participated and responded to Freddie, all that was absolutely true.
Had your time, you had the power, you get to have the finest sound. Radio. All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Gaga. Radio was you. Radio, someone still love Ayo. All right.
Now, even though I have seen almost all the artists who performed at Live Aid, no one in my opinion came even close to Freddie. What a legend. Despite all the other problems around the globe in 1985, I mean, the Cold War was at its peak, and still, Live Aid managed to create enough attention and raise more than $123 million from the Philadelphia concert and £150 million from Wembley. So, the way I see it, it wasn't just a rock concert, nor was this just a historic TV event, but was a perfect example of how common people and artists can come together to really bring a positive change. Makes me wonder though, what happened to most celebs today? I mean, did they lose their mojo, their power and charisma to draw large charity funds? It's not like we got rid of world hunger after 1985. So enough with Marvel and DC superheroes. Can I get a dozen more Bob Geldofs to go, please? Because he's the hero the world needs right now, but not the one it deserves. Maybe someday we can all unite on Twitter to ask for the next most epic music concert that could save millions of lives. I mean, you guys made Snyder Cut happen, didn't you? So guess what else you all can do? Like, share, subscribe.